November 2004. Dungeon Magazine, number 116. The 30 Greatest Dungeons & Dragons Adventures of All Time. Brought to us by a dungeon design panel, the members of which is like reading a who's who in the RPG design industry. Most of these names are immediately recognizable, even for those with only a passing interest in Dungeons & Dragons. Keith Baker, the creator of the Eberron setting. Wolfgang Baur, the founder of Kobold Press. Eric L. Boyd, the co-author of Forgotten Realms sourcebooks. Andy Collins, the author of several 3rd edition D&D books. Monty Cook, a longtime Dungeons & Dragons adventure writer and creator of Numenera. Bruce R. Cordell, another longtime Dungeons & Dragons adventure author. Ed Greenwood, the creator of the Forgotten Realms setting. Gary Holian, Greyhawk setting expert and creator of the Greytalk email list and canonfire.com, two of the best resources on running the Greyhawk setting. Alan Scion Kohler, an N-World member with over 300 reviews to his name. Mike Merles, co-lead designer of the 5th edition of Dungeons & Dragons. Christopher Perkins, the senior story designer for Dungeons & Dragons. Clark Peterson, co-founder of Necromancer Games and Legendary Games. Chris Promise, the founder of Green Ronin Publishing and designer of the Dragon Age RPG. John Rabe, a fantasy and science fiction author, longtime editor of the Polyhedron magazine. John D. Ratliff, the Tolkien scholar and author of Return to the Keep on the Borderlands. And finally, Bill Slavisek, former director of role-playing design and development for Wizards of the Coast. What these folks did back in 2004 was catalog, organize, and rank the 30 greatest Dungeons & Dragons adventures written up to that point. One of the goals of this channel is to review each of these 30 greatest adventures and see if they still hold water today. Since they were written, and since 2004, when this article came out, a lot has changed. Many new authors have joined the scene, especially around the surging popularity of the old school Renaissance. Incredibly talented and creative authors have joined the ranks of these fine gentlemen, and I believe singular lady here, in creating adventures, worlds, settings, modules that could have been included on this list. Is it worth going back and seeing where their inspiration came from? Do these 30 modules still hold up today, and are they worth finding on eBay, buying a copy on DriveThruRPG? Or is it better to simply look for something inspired by it, but designed with a modern eye? I aim to find out. To start with, let's review Dungeon 116 and see what the dungeon design panel had to say. That will give us a baseline, and from there we can look at these individual modules and decide if it's worth picking up when there's so much else out there that is newer and maybe better polished. Let's get started. Before diving into the top 30, Dungeons set up 2 ground rules on the adventures they could and couldn't include in their list. No adventures from third-party D20 systems, and no adventures from Dungeon Magazine. While both would be compatible, and the Dungeon Magazine adventures official, the panelists felt that the D20 adventures couldn't be considered classic yet, and putting their own adventures in a best of list would be a bit egotistical. Instead, they included a separate top 10 list of their own adventures, which is as follows. Number 10, The Siege of Kratys Freehold by Ted James and Thomas Zuvich in dungeon number 33. Number 9, The Forgotten Man by Steve Devaney in dungeon number 75. Number 8, The Lich-Queen's Beloved by Christopher Perkins in dungeon number 100. The Lady of the Mists by Peter Aberg in dungeon number 42 is number 7. Number 6, Eye of Myrkul by Eric L. Boyd is in dungeon number 73. Number 5, Life's Bizarre, I love that name, by Christopher Perkins is in dungeon number 97. Number 4, Into the Fire by Grant and David Boucher is in dungeon number 1. Kingdom of the Ghouls by Wolfgang Baur is number 3 in dungeon number 70. Number 2, The Harrowing by Monty Cook is in dungeon number 84. And the greatest dungeon magazine adventure is said to be The Mud Sorcerer's Tomb by Mike Shel, which is located in dungeon number 37. Now, you'll notice a lot of duplicate names from the panel here, which really explains why they chose not to include their own adventures in the top 30. I hope to one day go through these 10 adventures as well, as I'm sure, although not included, there's a lot of good stuff to leverage here in this list. Now, without further ado, let's break into the 30 greatest D&D adventures of all time. The Ghost Tower of Inverness, known for its interesting dungeon design. The Assassin's Knot, known for its Assassin's Guild and timeline features. The Lost City, known for its extensive notes on expanding the adventure. The Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh, known for flipping existing D&D tropes on their head. The City of Skulls, known for its notoriety system. Dragons of Despair, known for its cinematic environments and scenes. City of the Spider Queen, known for its epic adventure and supplemental content. The Forgotten Temple of Tharizdun, known for its close encounter with one of the most notorious dark gods of the Greyhawk setting. The Lost Caverns of Tsojcanth, known for its detailed wilderness setting and extensive Booklet 2, which included 30 new creatures. Dark Tower, known for raising the bar on dungeon design. Number 20, Scourge of the Slave Lords, known for its memorable moments and villains. Against the Cult of the Reptile God, known for its reusable content and efficient size. The Hidden Shrine of Tamoachan, known for its illustration booklet and fun encounters. Ruins of Undermountain, known for being one of the biggest dungeon crawls ever. The Isle of Dread, known for introducing players to a wider world outside of just dungeons. Number 15, Castle Amber, known for its quirkiness and underlying lurking horror. Dead Gods, known for its crowd-pleasing returns of Orcus and the Vault of the Drow. Dwellers of the Forbidden City, known for its setting and unique monsters, especially the Aboleth. Number 12, The Forge of Fury, known for its intelligent monsters and the creative uses of their lair. The Gates of Firestorm Peak, known for its eldritch horror and fresh takes on the familiar. Return to the Tomb of Horrors, known for taking the original tomb and turning it into a mega-adventure with amazing flavor and interesting plot. White Plume Mountain, known for being a fun puzzle dungeon. Return to the Temple of Elemental Evil, known for being a memorable experience that nods at, but twists the original's elements. The Keep on the Borderlands, known for its keep base of operations and sandboxy nature. The Desert of Desolation, known for its Egyptian-themed setting and encounter format. The next are the final 4 semi-finalists. Number 5, Expedition to the Barrier Peaks. Known for its expansive included artwork and the genre-bending adventure it included, this module taught a generation of gamers that it was okay to take the weird and wild and mix it into a generic fantasy setting. Starting with the mundane, this adventure soon takes you into the bowels of an alien spacecraft, and the memorable items and monsters it contains within will be the talk of your table for years to come. Number 4, the Temple of Elemental Evil. The opening village in this module, Hamlet, sets the standard for beginning settlements for years to come. Designed at the same time as the eponymous keep, the ability to give the player characters a starting town defined how campaigns worked in Dungeons & Dragons. Coupled along with is one of the best examples of a living dungeon to date, leading to perhaps the single greatest dungeon crawl ever. Number 3, Tomb of Horrors. The deadliest module ever. This is what the Tomb of Horrors is known for, a collection of sheer Gygaxian genius. Anyone who says they've made it through this dungeon without losing a single PC is a liar, cheater, or both. What I'm personally most interested in is it merely tricky or simply unfair. Number 2, Ravenloft. Known for mixing tone, story, and a dungeon crawl in a time where that was unique, Ravenloft's ability to make the module different every time it's played with a card reading was an ingenious addition that has yet to be topped. Throw in the villain Count Strahd von Zuvich, and you've got the second greatest module of all time. Can it still compete with newer modules such as Curse of Strahd with its meager 32 pages? And finally, the best of the best. Number 1, Queen of the Spiders. Of all these modules, why this one? Who better to explain it than the panelists themselves? Andy Collins, quote, "This bare-bones hack-and-slash classic is so packed with action that you couldn't fit it all between 2 covers today." John Ratliff, "This is the one that showed us how to create a themed adventure, how to unfold a hidden plot hint by hint and clue by clue." Alan Kohler, "The Underdark has become a classic place to set adventures. This is where it all started." Clark Peterson, "Nothing like this had been done before. The Drow were new and mysterious as opposed to being tired and overused as they are today." Monty Cook, "Probably the first open-ended adventure where the PCs have more of a choice than deciding whether to go left or right at a T intersection. Plus, the Drow were wonderful and depraved, but organized individuals." Bill Slavisek, "A classic adventure full of strange locations, bizarre encounters, and weird maps. It was among the first adventures to try to illustrate the plains as a place to play, and it set the stage for a lot of what came after it." Ed Greenwood, quote, "The module crams an entire classic descent into the Drow-held Underdark into one mammoth adventure and campaign setting." And finally, Jean Rab, "It's just the best. Dark and mysterious and filled with an evil that's palpable and capable of sending a few shivers down your spine. Beautiful, crafty, and insidious. A fantastic adventure to run and just a plain good read." That was the top 30. Thanks for watching. Stick around to see what my takes are on these classic adventures.